Hey everyone, this is gonna be like a little bit of a level 2 tutorial. I'm gonna kind of talk through what I see when I'm trading and how you can kind of use level 2 to your advantage, whether it's trades being invalidated, trades being validated, how I kind of find areas of potential entries. And so I took this trade on the 10th of SAFX. So if we look at SAFX here, um, we have above 3.2 appears to be getting shorted, and it seems to be in an uptrend, but I'm have this thought that if it breaks out on lower volume, given there's like wicks here and we've had sell-offs with the wick here, I was thinking if volume isn't like very high, then that this could be a failed breakout. But we're gonna watch that's the kind of bias I have. But let's watch sort of what happens on the level 2 when I'm looking ready to enter. So see right now, there's a lot of red, but price isn't dropping, right? At this 3-1 level. We have the level 1, or I guess the bid and the ask continuously stepping higher despite the red prints that we see. See, there's green, plenty of green and red prints, but it's all happening higher and higher. A little bit of resistance there at 317 makes me think that shorting here could be a play. Go forward a little bit. We see that here at 313, there's a lot of green, meaning that higher highs are being set. 312. This isn't flushing down, so the bid is kind of stepping up. We have red prints, but the bid is holding at 308. Now plenty of green prints. Plenty of green. You see that 313 is getting bought, 312 is holding. So all this red on 312, all this red 309, but 308 seems to be holding again. So plenty of red, but not huge flushes down. Above 3 still holding. And then huge push up. So in this situation, you think that below 3 is going to get bought up. So huge flush up again. 3-2s breaks. Green, green, and not a lot of selling going on. And if there is selling, we aren't flushing down hard. We see that it's anytime there's big red prints, it's only coming down a couple cents, versus when there's big green prints, it's going up 5-10 cents. So we're pushing up to 3.3 now. Huge push up, like 8 cents. And when I see this, I'm waiting for any resistance. So I see that 341 is holding. See the time that we're spending at 3.4, and then it gets rejected a little bit. I see that volume isn't high. This is when I'm interested. So again, another test of 3.4, and it's not pushing through. So I get shares ready, look to short. Short because we don't blast through for 5 cents and 10 cents like we saw before. But then we'll see how the red isn't causing a quick drop down. So we're seeing that same action where the bid is stepping up and there's still buyers at those levels. 3.4 still kind of being shorted. So obviously some resistance there. But at this point, when we saw it flush above 3.4 a little bit and then come down, the green prints makes it seem like it could push higher. All of these green prints. We see it's coming down a little bit, but 335 around 33 is holding pretty strong. So we aren't continuing down. This is a lot of time spent at 335. Huge red prints at 335, but it still holds. Now we're seeing huge red prints at 337, but it's not going lower. We hit 35 again, holding, 334, 332, 331, 33 gets bought. So now the momentum down slows. At this point, I'm interested in, okay, hopefully this comes down to 3 and I could take profits. But it starts grinding back up again. So all of those orders below 335 get bought up again. So being short in this position, you know that 345 is getting shorted. Now let's see how it acts. So we see lots of green. It's pushing up higher. We start getting close to 3.5. That's showing resistance. We come back down. So there's a lot of just sort of sideways chop in that 3.45 to 3.3 range. So we come back and retest 3.3. Lots of red here, but we see that the bid still holds and bounces up. So no clear direction here, just kind of sideways action. We know that the range of 3.45, the high end of that range is getting shorted, and then around 3.3 is getting bought up. We're close to the higher end of the range now. See lots of green. The red is holding at 339. Plenty of green here. The fact that there's plenty of green, but it's not pushing higher, can be a sign that there's it's time for the reversal. But we see 3-4 gains, green, 3-4-5, slowly stepping up higher and higher. Now we're seeing that 339 is holding. So in this situation, we know that 3.45 is the high end of the range, 3.3 is the low end of the range. But right there, we saw that it didn't go down to 3.3. It didn't even go down to 3.35. Now we're pushing higher again. Still green prints, and red isn't causing a huge drop, the red prints. Another instance where we could have dipped below 339 into 3.3s, but we didn't, indicating bid is stepping up. So at this point, when there's no clear direction, I'm checking my stop to see how high is it? Am I okay with it being here? Do I want to adjust in any way? We are clearly getting bought above 3.3. So will this really come down to 3.03? It's hard to know the more time we spend here. But we can see that at this point on this breakout, there isn't any clear direction, meaning it's trading within this tight range of 3.45 to 3.3. And the range keeps getting tighter and will eventually make it'll eventually either break down or break up. So we're seeing some orders on 3.4, but it's not moving. And I move my cursor there as an indication. So if we just look here, we see on the red there of 3.41, and all this red on 3-4, but it's not moving. The bid size is sort of staying the same, we'll see. So all that red, but it stays the same. Bid sort of holds. There's size being fired at 3-4, even though there's plenty of red prints here. So see the size of 63 here, and then all the red? It's not flushing through. It's holding at 54. See all the red? There's all this size being tossed on the bid, but this is staying at 54. More orders at 3-4, and pushes higher. Lots of green prints there, indicating the bid stepped up to 3-4, and they're no longer trading down to 3-3-5. So plenty of orders at 3-5, but we blast through. Now we see that it's not coming down to 3-4 and pushing higher. And the ask is light here. We're flushing through each cent. There isn't any sense of momentum slowing. So a lot of the time when I say that price action looks bullish, it can mean that the bid keeps stepping up like this. There isn't any real sense of direction changing to the downside, and higher highs, higher lows being set. So now we have red at 3-5, but you see the bid is stacked at 3-5. And we hold 3-5 with all those orders. So bid is continuing to step up. Okay, so we could see at this point, basically, the trade is kind of invalidated, which is why sometimes I'll like get out of positions early, because I'm not really seeing that price action I want to be seeing after I take my entry. We see the bid keeps going higher. Now 353 seems to be holding. 352 is holding. A little bit of a flush there, but it immediately gets bought up. Meaning, basically, orders at each level are holding, which isn't good to be short. If we're looking at like price levels, say these are like 1 cent increments, right? And we have 3-5 here. And let's just say like 3-4-5 here. What you want to see as a short seller is if you're short at 3-5, you want to see this immediately come down like 10-15 cents, indicating there's clear momentum to the downside. But if each price level just holds, and we go here and there's a lot of shares being bought and traded. We go to the next level down, a lot of shares are being bought. Next level down, and the more time that we spend at each level, if the float is 665,000, right? And each time we're like 1 million shares traded, that means that it's exchanging hands a lot. And the people that are owning most of the shares are the people that have been buying in these areas, right? So there aren't really that many people short if it keeps continuing higher until it shows that, reversal and price action. So we see we dip back down to the 3-4-5 level, but it still gets bought up. And at this point, it's like with a target down here, it's going to be hard for price to come back to that point, given the action that we've seen. Until it shows that lower lows, lower highs, then we have that situation of, okay, this is probably going to reverse. So we're continuing higher, continuing to 3-6. And you'll notice the difference in kind of the price movements where when there's a lot of red, it tends to hold or only go down a couple cents. But when there's a lot of green, it'll jump up multiple cents. Like from 3.6 it goes to 3.63. Whereas when there's red, it's either staying at that price or only going down 1 or 2 cents. So it keeps grinding up, keeps grinding up. No exceeding selling. It seems that, bulls are obviously winning the fight on pushing price higher. And anytime there is selling, it's not dropping quickly. And then you see right there, huge flush up, basically 10 cents. It's continuing higher. Shorts obviously continuing to cover. Buyers coming in for scalps. No real resistance showing. Big other push 5 cents up. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, probably going to get stopped out here. And this trade is basically lost. But this price action, right? Whenever I say that it's showing super bullish price action, is when just higher lows are being set and higher highs. So we have this push of volume. This one obviously was a riskier one considering the volume relative to the float. But eventually I get stopped out of this. So I'll move to the next example now. I will just add here, we'll see the next point that there's a clear shift is when I got stopped out. So we see 4.1, 4.13 gets shorted. And then if we see the massive orders on the ask coming through there, as this was pushing above 4.1. So this gets to 4.1-ish. We'll see that the ask starts getting stacked with 100 size, 200 size, lots of red. We have these orders getting taken out really quickly. Even though there's a lot of size on the bid, it's getting taken out quickly. See all this size coming in on the ask? It's indicating that it might reverse. So when it hit 4.13, we saw that reverse action, right? Where from 4.13, it quickly shot down to $4. So this indicates signs of, okay, there's clear shorting and profit taking happening above 4. Lots of size on the ask here. You'll see hundreds and hundreds of, I guess each one is 100 shares. So if it's 100, that's what, 10,000 shares. So huge flush down, and we had from 4.1 to basically 3.87. So 1 ATR flushed down. So that indicates that it's pretty much topped out there. And if you're interested in shorting, you want to kind of tap back into that above 4 area. CPOP. So let's talk about this one because I took this one short. So I'm watching it spike up. It's reaching, I have charts in my Thinkorswim. That's what I use for charting primarily. I'm seeing this pop up. It's showing some weakness in 9.4. And 9.4 is where VWAP is. So I'm looking to get short on this one. 9.68, 9.7. But momentum kind of slows here higher. And I try to get in at 9.7, and I didn't have enough, or I pressed the wrong button, I think, for the shares. So seeing that 9.7 kind of slowed momentum, I hopped in short there. See that CPOP seems to continue higher. And then I'm just checking my stop of 107. And I feel good about it. But I don't like my take profit being so low. We have a little flush down, and now I'm feeling a little more comfortable about being in this one, given that 9-8 got shorted pretty hard, and there's a lot of volume on this indecision. Typically in these situations, it tends to reverse, but we'll see what happens. SUGP, I saw that there was pretty hard shorting at 159, so I'm just paying attention to see if it gets to that level, and I'm just watching CPOP, see if it dips below 8.9. So I get filled. So 9 holds a little bit, and I'm getting a little nervous, but we see we're starting to come down, and then I hit my profit target. So very clear shorting happening, right? And this is what I'm looking for is indecision happening close to where I want to take my entry. And continuing that. If this held above my entry price as it was coming higher and didn't come down, it's always a bad sign, but it tends to hit my profit target more often than not. So TORO very clearly above the upper band of VWAP. So I'm just watching level 2 to see where we have shorting, and 304 showed a little bit of resistance. So I set my order at 302, hoping to get filled. It has a bit of a light ask, but I love my my odds here because ATR is like 13 cents. So my take profit is right at the upper band of VWAP versus being at like 265. This is much more likely to be hit short term. I look at my my stop and I'm a little worried, but I'm liking this indecision I'm seeing. So then huge flush down, already shortable, which is great. I could hop in quickly. So I move my order down a little bit, thinking it'll flush down lower. So as we're kind of watching the price action here, wanting to see how 3 acts, but we could see that the prints are coming in between kind of the bid and ask, not a lot of green on the ask. And the ask is kind of stepping down. We see flushes down that are pretty quick, which is great price action for us. We have kind of jumping around chop, but not clear continuing momentum up. See that it's jumping down pretty quickly, a bit of a wider spread. But it hit 3 and then jumped down 10 cents, which is great price action for me. It wicked below my take profit. I was like, what the hell? But then eventually hit it. So that's cool. Definitely should have tried moving that down a little bit in retrospect because it was a great opportunity. I could have just targeted VWAP. But yeah, anyways, that's basically how I use this information to make my trading decisions and what I'm looking for, what makes me nervous when I am in a trade, and what makes me comfortable when I'm in a trade. And yeah, thanks for watching, and peace.